I just watched that back on stream and I just still can't stop laughing. Right. Let's focus on the next game because clearly we've got one more game tonight. And it is going to be MNM versus Singularity. Another game that for MNM really comes down to, in my opinion, I'm not entirely sure on the complete mathematics here, but it really feels like it comes down to just avoiding relegation at this point. And for Team Singularity, they're pretty comfortably in playoffs. And so for them, establishing second seed at the absolute, maximum. And I think for MNM, it is a do or die situation in this game. If they lose here, it definitely feels like they are pretty much guaranteed relegations.
Yeah, I think it's not completely guaranteed, but it's like we're talking the smallest of percentages that you can even get. So, I mean, a win, you need two. Like, you need two, and even if you get those two, you're not even secured. And that's kind of how bad it is right now for them. So, for MNM, if they don't want to follow the tradition in the NLC, they need to win every game to avoid this relegation.
It's not much of a legacy, really, is it? We talk about the greatest legacies in the EU.
I mean, if the legacy is getting relegation and winning relegations every time, that's a win. That's a success.
Okay, yeah,
you got to count the positive.
Silver lining. Well, tomorrow they play up against Fnatic Rising. So, yeah, I would say they're definitely up against it as far as that goes. But still, one game at a time. And this game right here against Team Singularity. Now, Red side, I believe, has won every single game today. It's the last game of the day. So MNM, can they buck that trend?
Up, boys, it's over.
Well, they get a first pick. Maybe they get Science Sexy with that. We don't know. And there it is. There's the Rail Hover. Let's see if they go with that.
And Rail is by far my favorite champion of the pool right now. Like I was kind of trying to sell it to you, Foxtrot, behind the scenes, but Rail really is a champion that a lot of people thought was a bit clunky in the beginning, but they just needed to find their footing on the champion, finding out how to utilize this kit. And it's a champion that, yes, you can use it for engage when paired up with the right champions, but it's also a champion with an insane amount of disengage, and that's so crucial for this kind of meta when every team is basically running an engage composition. So I like what Singularity's response is. They're like, oh, you want to create some disengage or engage? Well, we'll create some ground here and have a lot of range to work with in this Azir for Fury now.
Yeah, I think Azir's been popping off recently. Like, we saw it last game. Mate, hat-tricks, what was that about? That was ridiculous. His Azir gameplay was nutty. I think MNM are hoping that Fury is not quite as good as hat-tricks is on that champion. And in response to MNM just flicking through a bunch of different champions. What's he going to be? What's he going to choose? There's the Kai'Sa. Okay, Kai'Sa Rail on that bot lane. I think that's a pretty standard and very meta bot lane here for MNM.
Yeah, so I'd say there's two champions right now that's the best you pair up with Rel. One of them is obviously Samira, because every time you dash in, well, Rel just pops a stun and it's an easy CG chain. You can kind of do the same with Kai'Sa. So when Kai'Sa dives in for the backline with her ultimate, per se, then she will stun the opponents as well with the help from Rel. So that's kind of how the combo works there. And then we're pairing that up with another champion that's risen in popularity here. It is the Skarner. Something that might be good for a player like Raxi, who's had a hard time finding his footing in a meta that was so heavily jungle carry driven, and now he's back on something he's more comfortable on a facilitating champion like Skarner.
What's the I think Fury has had some really good performances on Azir as well, so this is something I'm obviously seeing priority on for Singularity. Is it something that I think they're really very confident on? Dragdar will go on to the Jhin here, and so that's an interesting pickup for them. They prioritize that quite highly over any other options.
Yeah, I'm looking at the kind of the disengage that we've got here from Singularity, and I think it does really well with the hard engage that you've got from MNM. Both Rel and Skarner just want to run at you, and having the Azir wall and the Gragas casks and slows, and even with this Jhin here, Jin's a champion that can stay pretty far back. He doesn't have to get in your face to be useful in a team fight. So I think Singularity have drafted some good answers to MNM, and we'll see where they go for the rest of this right here, because it is a counter pick we've got here for Singularity. Oh, sorry, they can pinch the mid lane pool here for Singularity, and on the side of MNM, you have the advantage in the jungle side. So going to be narrowing those champion pools down.
And with that, I mean, so you say that with having a hard time getting to them, and this is a pick that would never come through, but I really feel like while we're just waiting for the bans, silly in here, right? Like, oh, speed up this Skarner, have the ultimate in these skirmishes. Like, I would love to kind of see that as a lost result, but Granted, not a champion that gives you a lot of priority. It's just like, I was just thinking, movement speed on Skarner. I really miss those old days when we just have a Cillian in mid. You've had the Kindred come in and just steal away the show, something to play for. We have a guy who does it in the Danish scene. That's why it's on my mind.
I mean, it feels like MNM would need to pull out something spicy to really take the fight to Singularity, though. I think that's when you're in this situation where it's essentially do or die, a Hail Mary play is often a good way to kind of approach the situation, something that's a little out of the box. And obviously that would be potentially a little out of the box. Air hasn't been, I would say, the standout member of the MNM roster. So a more facilitating role for him could be something worth thinking about. We'll see what Singularity choose to lock in here. It will be Trundle in the jungle, which we have not seen a huge amount of as of late.
Oh, the reason with Trundle is, yes, he's decent into Skarner as well with the pillar, stopping Skarner from walking forwards. So Trundle will be better when we go on to the next patch because he's a champion that's had a hard time catching up to these farming junglers. Like, it's really easy to out-jungle a Trundle, not necessarily because you're a bad player, because the kit in a Trundle is just so slow with the minion or the monster clear, contrary to, for example, Graves or Italy or something along those lines. But when you're against Skarner, you might be able to match up onto it and kind of, counter what Skarner wants to do as a champion.
Yeah, and just build on that as well. Trundle, it tends to do a lot better versus tanky champions, and obviously Skarner is tanky. Trundle can steal Skarner's resistances, and even just in the pure jungle matchup, Skarner is one of the strongest 1v1 champions if he's fighting on his Spires. And I think Trundle is probably the strongest 1v1 champion if you're just bonking each other, just bam, 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 bam. I think Trundle will definitely not be too scared of a Skarner walking into his jungle. So, yeah, it's an interesting pick, but I do quite like it. I think it makes sense. And when we round things off here with the old Camille Volibear topside matchup, we didn't touch on it as well, but Air's opted into the Echo, into that Azir. So I think all in all, like some pretty, well, I was going to say some pretty meta comps. Asterisk, there's a Trundle in this game, but outside of that, we've got some pretty standard picks here.
So the thing is with MNM's composition, they can in the later stages turn into a 1v1 or 1-3-1 composition that can split the map, and that would be perfect considering the team composition you've seen from Singularity. The problem with that is that you will have a hard time getting to that point. Volibear into Camille is extremely hard for Camille to play in the laning phase. It's going to take some time before you really get to that outscale potential, and if Wazer gets killed in the early game, well, that's just going to be harder for Babista. Air can have an easier time if he's got minion determinalizer, using it on the correct minion, so his Q will one-shot those minions when you go for the wave clear. But it's something where I'm looking at, you need to have a stable laning phase that can turn into a better late game for your 1-3-1 composition. So not winning the lane, just going even ex-Scoundrel.
Yeah, I'm curious, by the way. Yeah, I just really quick, I want to see here, Trundle Pillar into Camille Hookshot. How's that gonna? Yeah, I want to see that happen. Setting up the old swings and roundabouts. It'd be fun.
You can't do
It looks
that.
like we might have to get a remake on Champion Select, by the way, because we had.
Can't you do that?
I think we had a bug. Oh no, wait. No, I'm being told no, because I should wait for my producer to feed me this information and not one of our random cast.
I was gonna say, Jake is not the person you take intel from, right? Like it's Hiprain. He's really good at play by playing, but when it comes to this, like it's definitely a harder time.
It's actually a remake. It is.
Yeah,
actually
now
a remake.
I have that intel from the producer saying it's a remake, so now I can trust the information. Now it's a credible source. A little lesson for you guys up there: don't trust casters. I did that last time when I did the play of the game, and it turned out horrible.
I'm gonna read you what Hiprain has written in our chat. Is there a summoner bug? Blue has cleansing ghost. Yeah, it was a bug. Don't worry. No, don't worry. Remake. Thank you, Jake. Clear information delivered in a very short space of time. Classic, absolute classic. Okay, we've got a bit of time to kind of, I guess, expand on these comps a little more. For MNM, Gulborg, you briefly touched on the 1-3-1. Is that something that you want to see them execute to have a higher chance of winning here?
I mean, do I want to see them execute their composition? Yes, yes, I do, right? So obviously, it's going to be a bit harder, as I said, and I definitely think that Singularity will have an easier time to play out this game, just because that historically teams just have an easier time play around team fighting. You know, when it gets tough with macro calls about, oh, I'm only seeing one in my lane, or I'm seeing no one in my lane, so don't push up mid lane, and there's a lot of communication going on. Was that we missed the Drake timer? Like, when you start having all these conversations, it gets way harder to play the game. But if your team comes like, hey, we want a team fight, set up Drake, force them to come to us, or we just get free Drake. Great, that was the plan. Like, that is why we always will recommend an easy to execute composition, just because it is literally easy to execute.
Wow. Win lane, win game. From the author of Win Lane, Win Game. Easy.
No. It's
Easy.
the follow-up. It's literally just go even, win game. That's the follow-up. Go even, win game is the follow-up. And also, on top of that, we have a new comedy book coming out, Self-Defecating Heat. That's that's the next book in Gilborg's. He's expanding his category of book genre.
I'm glad I have an off day this week. I'm really glad I have an off day this week, because I wouldn't be able to do like 2 more days with you guys. I'd probably just.
Yeah, don't finish that sentence. Not going to finish that sentence. Thank you very much. I know where you're going with it, you little gamer. Anyway, we have obviously just waiting to get into. We're getting into this game. I
want to start a podcast.
You laugh too much. You're the two that just crack me up too much. When I can't even do my. I barely do my job properly as it is. And when I've got you two, I definitely don't do my job.
But I kind of feel like we're caster, but we're also entertainers. And what do people want to listen to in a pause? Us going over the same team comp over and over again? Or, giving the audience a good laugh? Just like you lying about your rank in Wild Rift for some reason. Like also, I mean...
Lie about... Okay.
Wow, that pushes buttons.
Please find where I quoted
I'm Challenger,
it. I am Challenger. Please find where I quoted and said, I am Challenger.
You did. You were like, yeah.
I am nearly Challenger.
No, you didn't say that.
I did say that. I said I am nearly Challenger.
No, you didn't. You did that after you're like, okay, I'm not Challenger, but it's only a few LP. Like, I'm Grandmasters.
That's funny.
Yeah.
It's all right. You'll get there eventually, a scoundrel.
Really, I'm honestly cracking up right now. See my face? Can't control my laughing. It's absolutely hilarious, honestly.
What was your favorite game today?
What was my favorite game today?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see any of the XL one because I was spent the entire time trying to cuddle Rupert, so he went to bed.
Was that your favorite?
Apparently, what was that? Sorry,
putting your kid to bed.
Yeah, well, that happens.
Is he in bed now?
I'm hoping so. He's not crying, so either that means that my wife has fallen asleep in the room with him, or it means that he's actually gone to sleep.
Okay.
What's my favorite game of the two that I actually watched? I like the first game. I don't know. I like the Nordivan game as well, though, because I like Silas. I just like watching Silas.
I think first game was also because it was a great upset. Like Godson actually coming in against Tricked, and we all bet Tricked or predicted Tricked rather. And I really like seeing teams like Godson probably just putting on the gas in the later stages of the playoffs, towards the playoffs specifically because the race is just so close between every team in that group.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, do you know what? I can save you guys from this pain. Apparently, we're going to casters, which must mean that we are nearly ready to get into games. So I'm going to hand it over to Hit Brain in Trouble.
Challenger, by the way.
Thank you from our Challenger host. Hello and welcome to the caster desk as we're getting ready to go into game number 4, our final game of the day. Important game for MNM, to be honest. They are in a bad place, in a very bad place. I'm muted in Discord. I'm not, though. I am. Hello, I'm back. Trouble can hear me. That's sad because I actually took a punch at Excandrel and he didn't hear it, so unlucky. How you doing, Trouble?
I'm doing pretty good. I've forgotten every single comp that's been picked.
It's fine. Don't worry. We're getting into game. The guys on the desk have spoken extensively about that. We are getting loaded into the game any second.
And about a lot of other things.
There's no more bugs. It was a rune bug. I was wrong on the summoner spell bug. I'll put my hands up on that one. But yeah, Air on the Echo versus Fury on the Azir. We actually did see this over in the UKLC this week. Early on, it's a bit irritating for the Echo, but kind of eventually just gets to the point where he can just jump onto the Azir and kind of just live in his head rent free.
Yeah, I think it's where you have like 4 points on your queue that you can very easily clear the wave. And then you're going to have to force the Azir to waste a lot of mana to try and push the wave back to you, which is where the Echo sort of gets unlocked and Assassins usually want to be able to push the wave, and the second they get into Fog of War, the other laners have to respect. Now, the thing here is that if you look at the whole of the MNM composition, it's pretty much a wombo combo, right? Rel jumping in, Echo, Camille, Kai'Sa, and Skarner, like everyone bunches up and jumps in. The thing is that MNM have not done well with wombo combo compositions. They literally had the easiest to execute compositions, and they have fumbled in the execution department. And Team Singularity are no slouches to play against. They're literally at the top of the standings, and they've got a pretty solid front to back composition to play with 3 huge tanks, an AP carry and an AD carry.
All right, well, minions spawn. There was no early shenanigans to start us off. No invades or anything like that. I haven't seen any of those really as of late. Everyone's kind of okay, just not to risk it. MNM will be first to this bot side, so see if they can try and race that level 2.
That sort of gives away that the Skarner also starts top side, which means he will end up bot. The Trundle will mirror, but the other way around. He'll start bot side, end up top side. Big question mark right here is how the top lane matchup will go. This will be extremely important because Camille is going to struggle in this lane. This is why you see Bobista having the ignite. That being said, once the hook shot is used, Trundle is around. He's going to be in a lot of trouble without the flash available to him. So you see that Nolty has started bot side to end up top. Let's pay attention if Nolty will pull the trigger for a gank on the top side.
That's our trade, that bot lane was pretty rough for Dragdar.
Yeah.
Although Miharis did burn a pot, and this is the Azir versus Echo matchup. So Echo jumps in, gets the Q, gets the auto, pops the passive, and then just runs away. Earlier on, Fury can just put the soldiers down and kind of poke him, but eventually it gets really rough. And, you know, if Fury ever tries to shuffle him back, Air just presses R and Chrono breaks to safety. So it's a bit of an irritating one for the Azir, because Echo can kind of just outmaneuver the soldiers as needed. Now,
Yeah,
Nolty.
there it is.
Yep.
Ooh. So far, Fury's having pretty good trades right there. Thing is that he's able to actually push the wave because he knows that Nolty is around. So he's being safe with his jungler. And again, I just want us to pay attention on the top side of the map. Camille is running the ignites. He's playing the win lane, win game scenarios. He has read the bestseller from our one and only Goldbog here on the show. If you guys have not bought it, it's a bestseller. You can go and grab it for yourselves, only for $3.99 a piece. We'll teach you how to win your solo queue games. Have you picked up yours, Kiprin?
No, I'm still Giga stuck. Maybe I should.
You should. You still played Lux, by the way.
I haven't played Lux once this season, and I feel like I should, because I could use Horizon's focus and things.
Yep. Very strong.
I've just been one-tricking LeBlanc for a while now. That's been me recently.
All right, that's nice. All right, snapping back into the game. Snapping back. Enough with the solo queue shenanigans and the win lane win game. So you see at the start, before Echo has a few points in his queue, he really struggles pushing the wave, which means that Fury is going to get the priority for his jungler, which allows Nolty to actually invade the top quadrant of the jungle, and they're basically just...
Well, they're just proxy farming right now.
Yeah, they're like proxy farming, and they're like swapping farm sides. So Trundle is going to be in Rax's jungle, and Rax is going to be in Nolty's jungle as well, trying to farm away. But the CS is looking rough for the Camille so far. So she needs some of that attention from the Skarner. Skarner needs to be level 6, of course, to go up there. Camille needs to be level 6 as well to try and lock down the Volibear. That Ignite needs to come in handy early into the game before the Volibear gets too strong to go down, and the Ignite is a non-factor. So far, it's just been a farm fest in literally every single lane. But if you look on the map, top side of the map is winning for Singularity. Bottom side of the map, due to that bad trade, has lost a little bit of momentum, and Dragda is 10 CS down.
I actually want to give props to Fury here, because the way that he's actually trading with Air is really, really good. Like, he is quite happy to trade with him and take these. So Fury jumps in, Fury gets chunked, and Air actually that time gets the better trade. That's what it's meant to be like. But the last few trades have actually been a lot different, and Fury able to actually navigate these fights a lot better than Air has. So good stuff. But, you know, we are getting to that point where level 6 is looming. The Echo starting to get a little bit more scary.
He hasn't yet put the point in his ultimate. From what I can see, I hope this is a visual bug. He doesn't yet have it. You can see it in lane. He's surely
He's only
not.
put 5 points in, so he hasn't actually spent the point yet. There it is.
All
Look,
right.
there it's not.
There we go. Now we have it.
Dodges well on the shuffle for free, Fury. Burns ult, and the big thing about this matchup is Echo's R is on a much shorter cooldown than the Emperor's Divide. So Air not burning ultimate there, and Fury burning ultimate there is really, really rough for Fury now.
I'm really wondering if he misclicked level 6.
Wait, yeah, he
still-
hasn't leveled it. Oh,
Interesting.
sorry, I thought he'd leveled it by now, but no, he's got. Wait, he's only got 5 points placed though, right? He's got 3 in Q,
I
1 in
cannot
W,
see.
and
You
1 in
cannot
E.
see? I'm on
He's
a
not
different
leveled
thing.
his R. He's not leveled his R. He's actually not spent the point. Okay.
Okay, so this is clever. This is clever because if he's put the point on Q, which I'm assuming he has,
He has-
this is for. He hasn't.
He's put 3 points in Q, 1 point in W, and 1 point in E. So he's got 1 unspent point right now.
What is going on?
We are having a pause. It might be due to that. I don't know. We'll find out. He's just hit level 7. Unless there's any Echo mains that let me know why you wouldn't spend your point in R early, which seems kind of crazy to me. We'll be getting the issue in a second, though.
The only way I could see it work is if you want to spend more points on your Q to sort of push the wave really quickly and then try to roam away, which would make sense. But it's just such an important tool to have on your Echo because you get a free recall as well. You recall back to base, you buy, and then you can just ult straight back, and then you'll have the boost from the mana and the HP from the fountain plus the item you bought, and you get to keep your teleport in case your team wants to make a play. So there must be some sort of bug right there that we can't see the ultimate.
So Foxy is saying that you actually do keep the point available. I'm just reading what I'm getting messages from our analyst desk. Apparently, what you do is that's smart. Okay, so the reason why he hasn't leveled it is you actually hang on to this onto the point for your R, because then you can use your ghost. You basically don't have the ghost, so you don't bait the enemy with it. And in mid fight, you can just pop R. You can
And you
open
ult
R
on the
and
same
pop it.
place, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, I don't play Echo, so I wasn't actually sure on how that goes. But yeah, okay, that's how Foxy's predicting this is going to go down. Because yeah, I was looking, I was doing the maths, I was like, no, he's definitely only spent 5 points here. But yeah, there has been a little pause. Not sure what the issue is. We still haven't had an update on that one. So we'll hopefully get you a bit of information on what's going on there. But for now, this extended game, which had a pretty long start to it because of the remake. Yeah,
Your hair is
more
wild.
time for us to talk. Are you still playing Katarina, by the way?
I am, and it's not going great. It's below 50% win rate.
Really?
Yeah. Well, they did buff her on hit on the ultimate, and then I was like, woohoo, 3 games, and then it was free low, and they nerfed it really hard, and then it was not free low anymore.
I gave it a game, and it was not fun. It just wasn't fun. I was like, it's just so free, and there's like literally, I just punched my keyboard and got a pentakill, and I was like, this isn't fun. That wasn't
AD Katarina?
I genuinely did, yeah. Like it's just, I don't find that stuff fun. I don't find like that is just too free.
How does one shot in your opponents with a button not fun? Like how? What?
I don't know, because it's like it's not. It's
You
like,
play LeBlanc. You play LeBlanc. You
I know I play
buttons and
LeBlanc.
they're
You
dead.
at least have to like do stuff. Like it's the same with like even Zoe. You could even argue that with Zoe, and I know this is a pretty bold argument because Zoe's pretty brain dead in that sense as well. But like,
She's
you just kind of punch a keyboard on Katarina, and then people just die, and there's like nothing happens. I don't feel like I did anything to get it. But at least on like Zoe, you'd hit the Q, or on LeBlanc you kind of land a good combo, and you kind of duke him with the clone.
Listen. You need to juke all of the CC, right? You need to juke all of the CC, and then you have to go in. And this is not always easy because there's too much CC in the game here, brain.
There's too many daggers. You just ping around the daggers and do damage while you're dodging, and then you press R, and then you kill
press R.
someone, and you get the resets, and it just carries on. And
Okay. So you're telling me that my champion has one button? This is what they tell me in World of Warcraft as well, because I play a druid. They're like, if you press one button, convoke.
Wait, what kind of druid?
I'm balancer, so press convoke.
Oh, you actually do just have one button there.
So basically, I'm a one-button wonder in every game I play. Cool, great.
Is your keyboard just like a key, like a key?
One button,
Just
yes.
one big cut, but you just press it.
I've taken all the others off. Actually, I have like an extra keyboard, like a very tiny one with just one button, and this is how I play games. The normal keyboard is just for typing.
That's fair. There you go, guys. If you want to play Katarina, sell your keyboard and get one button. That's all you need.
One button.
Anyway, back to the game. MNM are actually up in gold. It's only a very small amount at the moment. We are only 8 minutes in. However, Singularity kind of recovering a bit of that from the fact that they have been able to pick up the dragon as Fury got stunned by that parallel convergence, and I'm not entirely sure that should have hit, but it did. Able to ping back out. Has still not leveled that R and is holding the point, so he has
Honestly,
an extra point in queue.
my OCD is going nuts right now, Hipbrain. The fact that he doesn't have the R leveled, I know he's doing it for the bait technique, fair enough. But the fact that I can just visually see the plus buttons above all of his abilities just sitting there waiting. This is my OCD is driving me nuts. Now, back onto the game. As you can see, the Scanner was able to pull out ahead in CS. So from the side of MNM, we've got the bot lane and the jungle being ahead, whilst Team Singularity, the two solo laners are the ones doing the work, which is the ones you need if you want to go for the Rift Herald towards the top lane, because top prior plus mid prior gives you endless access into that river. They're gonna take that Rift Herald and possibly open it towards the side of Babista. You want to sort of choke out the Camille from a safe lane and threaten her every time. Once the Volibear gets ahead, it's so tough to try and keep him down. We've seen well, if you haven't, you should see the very recent Whippo Volibear performance. That was pretty monstrous.
Could also use it mid, potentially. Fury can shove in that way very quickly and use to kind of, do exactly the same thing to Air, what you said to Babista, which is kind of deny any safe lane. We'll see where the options are. As we take stock of the items right now, we've got the Hextech Alternator and the Blasting Wand finished up onto Air. So building towards either the Rocket Belt or the Night Harvester. Probably going to be that Rocket Belt. It's pretty much the typical build at the moment.
Eyes on Skarner. Chemtech has been complete. Roxy, for sure, should make an appearance on the map. It looks like it's most likely going to be bot lane. He's actually pinging it.
Yeah, they've been spotted out by so many wards as Air caught out, and that is enough for Singularity just to step back. Nolty's clearing up his chicken camp at the moment, and Fury's just pushing the wave. Does have to be careful though, as Raxi's making his way over. Azir though, pretty safe with the mobility that he has available to him in Air. Actually jumps in here, gets shuffled back. He's going to have to level that ult now as he pings out with a Chrono Break. Nobody's going to go down in that mid lane today.
Again, this is what we mentioned, right? The second Echo leaves the lane, the other lanes from Singularity have to absolutely respect that. Singularity's bot lane pulled instantly back, and now they also burned the Echo ultimate, which means he's not as strong anymore if he gets caught. Yes, he has the flash, but he's also extremely squishy.
Oh, the jumping in, Dragdor flashes away, gets himself the deadly flourish off for now. Watch for that pillar, going to slow Blue down as the curtain has been called, and that's first blood picked up for Prospere. A fantastic cast to send Raxi back, and Mihabaris has to flash over the wall. Actually aggro's up the dragon, so a lot of damage is going to be going into him as the W goes wide, and this is Fury collecting on the next kill. Raxi gets belly popped, gets slammed by the Stormbringer, and Raxi taken out by the Sand Soldiers. This is going to be the stun. He's able to jump away with the Chem Tank as Wazel's going to continue the chase onto him. Now it's Air looking for Prospere. Not going to catch him with the parallel convergence, and Raxi actually able to survive this. But Singularity still come out with the kills and the dragon.
Yep, they managed to get 2 kills there. They get the dragon. Top lane Kingdom for Wazer pushes the lane, pushes double wave towards the Camille, walks down to dragon, and then walks back up top lane and doesn't miss any CS. This Volibear is absolutely massive at this point, and the fight was basically won because Air could not join. He didn't have the ultimate. He's extremely squishy. He cannot be brawling without it. So MNM see the opening right here. Dragda is way too overextended. They try to get him and he flashes away. Now Nolty is of course gonna pop the subjugate straight after, and Blue cannot go anywhere in all the bullets from Jhin. Then they managed to pin down Mihai Barros as well into that pit. And Wazer again, he had all the time in the world with a double wave stacking up top lane to walk all the way down to that dragon, win his team the team fight by numbers advantage, and then like a sir, walk back up, and take every single bit of CS crashing under his tower.
Yeah, but the gold is still dead even after all of that as well. Let's have a look at where the CS numbers are, and I think it is Raxi, to be honest. We have a look at the individual gold. Might have to hold that, though, as Prosper's getting jumped onto. Pulled in by the Impale. Prosper still able to buy himself a bit of space. Here comes Blue, here comes Air. Prosper uses the cast as the Deadly Flourish is going to lock Blue down, and Prosper will lose his life. Mihabaris collects that kill. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Singularity are going to take some towers here, or at least some plates, but with that charge coming in, it might actually get this pretty close to going down. It's not going to fall, though. Bunch of gold, though. 1 plate remaining in the mid lane.
Yep, lots of money into that Azir. Also getting the Tron a little bit more fed, since, as you mentioned as well, he has fallen behind in CS as well. Almost 1,000 gold ahead for the Azir, having that 1 kill in there too. And it's just so important to open that mid lane because it sets Echo really far behind. He's going to have to overextend to take that CS, making him extremely vulnerable. He's not going to be a huge threat anymore because he's going to have to continuously shoving in the waves from being pushed under his tier 2, and they're trying to dive bot lane.
Yeah, Prosper might find himself caught out. The teleport's coming in. The Deadly Flourish onto Dragdar. Dragdar has nowhere to go as he is being run down by Air. The 4th shot, the flash, and the ping back to safety. But Air now shuffled up against the wall. Belly Bops is dodged away by the phase dive, but the Sand Soldiers should just be able to finish this one out. Air gets healed up for the moment. Wazor is going to look for the kill, able to find him as now Raxi being chased down. Here comes the rest of Singularity. Blue being chased. Mihabara so low. 1 good pillar could be enough. Here's the Stormbringer. Blue running for his life, but he will be taken out, and Fury will collect in on the kill.
Again, this is MNM pulling the trigger. They have the tools. They want to dive right there. Yes, they do take Dragda, but at what cost? They lose 3 members. I think they're most likely going to lose their mid lane tower as well, because Fury is just go back up. He has all his mana, all his HP, and opening up that mid lane tower is going to be huge for the vision game for Singularity. On the other hand, good thing that's going on right now is that Bobisa is taking some free time up in the top lane, solo farming, getting all the XP, getting all the CS, hopefully be a strong enough Camille to try and carry and keep the Jhin at bay. Now, keeping the Jhin at bay, Air is doing a wonderful job at this. He singled him out, he chased him down, burns his flash, which means the second he's back, Fury and Prosper, of course, are waiting for him. On the other side, of course, we've got the Volibear again with a teleport. He's absolutely massive. Gives again the numbers advantage for the side of Singularity to take down the fight.
15 minutes on the clock, and we take a look at where the items are right now. Triforce finished up for Bavista. Wazor actually closing in on his Mythic, but hasn't actually finished it up right yet.
That should be a Trinity Force.
That's the components of a Trinity Force.
Yeah.
Air shifts over the wall. Has got the ulti. Is going to get caught out by the pillar, and he may have to pull the trigger here as he jumps back. But now the chase can carry on, and Fury on a killing spree.
Wait a minute. I'm not really sure what Air was trying to do there. He has absolutely no vision. I think he knew that Fury was probably there, but you have no clue where the rest of the map of Singularity is. He gave them pretty much a free Rift Herald right here, which Singularity will absolutely have to try and break another lane. They only have the mid lane tier 1 tower. Breaking open another lane will give them infinite vision into Rax's jungle, which is the only thing that's been going well for MNM so far. That Skarner is so tanky, he's so farmed, he can be frontline, he can provide engage, he can be that CC, that engage that MNM needs, that easy tunnel into a team fight. But if you take away all the farm, right now Azir is 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, that is as scary as it. And once that Nashus is finished up as well, he's just going to be pumping out so much damage. It's in a real rise in the priority on Azir. At the beginning of the season, it was more kind of the Victor, the Orianna kind of show in the mid lane, the Syndra as well. But Azir's just starting to get a lot more playtime, and I think this pick might start to see, a bit more priority in the picks and bans as we move later on in.
Now with all the tanks coming in and the front-to-back team fight, which is going to be, I'm expecting the meta after we have all the jungle nerfs with like the Zags and the Skarners and the Trundles coming back and all the Setuanis and everything. you do get the chance to sort of play these champions because all your fights are going to be front to back. You're going to have 2 beefy tanks at the front. You're going to have your AD. You're going to have your AP carry. And as you can see, it's really working because when you do have the front line, you get the time window, if you will, to stand still in DPS. And this is what Azir really loves, standing still and auto-attacking with his sand soldiers. He's sort of like an AP Aphelios in that matter, if you will. So far, so good for Fury. 3-0. He's accelerated into the game. He's getting closer. He's got his QSS as well, which is very important. In games where there's a Skarner involved, usually it can go really bad really quickly because if you fall behind versus Skarner and you also have to buy a QSS, that is that much more gold that you're falling behind, having to buy an item that will free you off the ulti.
Nolty may just find himself caught out here. Not going to be able to survive with that subjugate. Good slam back by Fury as he jumps towards his Sun Disc. The Impale, the stuns, the CC is too much, and Fury is going to get himself caught out and shut down by Babista.
A little bit of an overextension right there for Singularity, instantly punished by MNM. We talked about Raxi, we said about how he's going to be extremely active on the map, and this is what it is. Every time his ultimate has come up, he has looked for an opportunity in the side lane. The good thing here is that all these kills are going onto Babista's Camille, which is going to be extremely crucial. Jhin, extremely immobile ADC. Azir is also immobile once he's used his dash, so it's going to be an easy target for Babista's Camille to try and find on the backline.
Teleport gets used. They're committing members here. It's Air going to get chunked out a little bit by Prosper. Wazor now running away. Multiple members have made their way over, and Wazor is just going to have to try and turn this one around. The Deadly Flourish connects. Here's the curtain call. The Stormbringer's being thrown down. The Bear flashes over the wall, and Nolty jumps in, but Miha Barras launches into free, and he is taken out. Singularity, fine too. Now dragged out with the Gale Force coming forwards. Air on the run. The Deadly Flourish will lock him down. Here's the belly bop. Here's the flash. And here is the next kill for Singularity.
Whoa, that was extremely weird by the Kai'Sa to jump that far in. Again, you see the front to back that Singularity have right there. Their front line is so beefy. It's just so hard to go down. They still have the Reef Herald for that. They're going to use it for mid lane pressure. Braxton has to defend against that. They get 3 kills. They get bot lane pressure. They get mid lane pressure. They get Baron from that. And they're going to be completely unlocked on the map.
And I don't think they actually know this Baron's going on. Members are moving over now, but it's way too little. It's way too late. They're going to be able to just channel the way out for the recalls. That's the power of Azir. Let's have a look at this again, though.
Again, they're engaging onto Wazor. Yes, he's a little bit overextended, but he has his ultimate. He has his flash. He's going to jump straight through that wall. And the second Kai'Sa thinks he can overextend and dive into 2 tanks. He gets instantly shut down because they are so beefy and so farmed up that you just cannot press that assassination button and get Scar-free out of that.
Now,
she's not Kraken, right? He doesn't have Gale Force, so she's basically a front-to-back ADC now.
Yeah, I joined that replay. We did actually see the mid lane tower go down for Singularity. They lost their tier 1. I don't think they're really fussed by that because they've already taken a tier 1, and now with the Baron siege, they are going to just continue to siege here in the mid lane. And Fury actually going towards the Blighting Jewel, not going for the Nashers. So not as much attack speed, relying on the Leafo Tempo to provide that attack speed for now. That'll be the tier 2 going down in the mid lane. Tier 1 in the top side, pretty low, but no wave nearby. Dragon spawning up in 30 seconds, and this will be solved for Singularity. You were talking about some of the issues that Singularity have is a lack of mobility. It may just get a little bit harder when they get nice and fast, and the teleport being committed top side. Here's the Stormbringer. Wazor actually doing a lot of work, almost finding the turnaround. Wazor, what the hell was that? Air now has to chase onto him. Wazor's buying some time, gonna get the slow of the Sky Splitter. Here comes Prosper, and Air has to throw out the Time Winder, but he might be out of time himself. Prosper gets zipped back onto and will make his way out.
A teleport, an ignite, 2 ultimates. For one Volibear R, we take those. Instant TP down the bot lane by Wazer, getting yet another tower because they still have the Baron buff. And this is also solved from the side of Singularity. Every single time MNM have tried to pull the trigger, Singularity absolutely outplayed them. Wazer might pay with his life here. Because,
yeah, he might pay with his life. He's taking a lot of damage. The Magnet Storm comes in, a great shuffle back. The Deadly Flourish is there by Dragdar. Fury gets the movement speed from Soul. And here is the curtain call. Mihabaras out of range at the moment, but he's shuffled onto, gets himself the shutdown, and now the fight is getting so scrappy. Singularity out of members though, out of time. Raxi chasing onto Dragdar. Air zipping forward once again. Dragdar gets the heal off, but he is down. Air finds the kill. Nulty goes down. It's only Prosper who remains.
That was a beautiful flank, both by Babista and Air, the two assassins of the backline jumping in. Meanwhile, Pedersen is like whistling his way up the top lane, trying to push that wave. It was a little bit uncoordinated, I won't say no, but Singularity. And Wazer there is really playing with his food. Because, mate, you just survived a 2v1, that's great. You TP'd down bot, you took the tower. You cannot BM taking the golems as well when there's 3 members right there. We talked about Raxi. The second his ultimate is back up, he's going to use it. Also, beautiful flank right here by Bobista and Air to dive straight into the backline. And without the Gragas there to peel for his 2 immobile carries, unfortunately, they all end up going down. This is really great news for MNM because at least they managed to cash in some of these shutdowns and try to establish some vision into their own jungle to try and push forward these lanes.
There's the Void Staff finished up for Fury. QSS in the pocket now for Dragdar as well. So Raxi's options to ult people are slowly slimming. Wazel with the Triforce has a lot of attack speed, and that's kind of probably why they're underestimating the amount of burst he's doing. Building towards what I believe will be Asterix as well as his next item. More shielding, more survivability. Baron not up for another 2 minutes, and Singularity are moving into the area.
There it is, just came out of base straight with Sterix. If he didn't go down before, he's not gonna go down for sure now. The thing here is that there is just not enough AP burst damage to take down Wazer. So from here on out, he can just start stacking that armor onto that Volibear because the only ones hurting him will be the Camille and the Kai'Sa. The Echo is more of a burst type champion since he's an assassin, and he's gonna be mostly focusing on trying to get the Jhin and the Azir. So someone needs to kill the Volibear. Again, this is why we see this build coming out from the Kai'Sa with the Kraken, because it's mainly gonna have in her face a Gragas, a Trundle, and a Volibear, which are big times.
Dragdar's nice and speedy now that he's got that Cloud Soul. Just the base movement speed is enough. As MNM maybe looking for a little collapse here. Are going to zoom out of the bush though, make sure they don't get it. Big wave crashing in the bot lane towards Singularity. Babista has shoved that one in. However, Fury shoving a wave in on the top side, so kind of being matched here. And with there's no Baron up, with no Dragon up for a while, it's okay to shove in this mid lane, in this bot side, if you're Singularity.
If you have a
You're not really worried about that. The teleport will be up for Wazel in time for the Baron.
Yeah.
It's just a fight over vision.
I was just about to say, if you have a look at the top quadrant of Rax's jungle, it is full with thread wards. And I want you to pay attention at the one that's sitting right down on the left side of corner of your screen. That is going to be a really big TP ward if Singularity want to pull the trigger for Baron and MNM running to try and contest. That Volibear could very well be on the flank trying to get them together with the Azir, which is going to be a huge shuffle. Here, Singularity. Oh!
Yeah, they're actually looking to turn it on to Nulty. Nulty does have the subjugate for the moment. They're jumping in for that Magnus Storm. Dragdar has to jump away. Wazel is zoning air off as here comes Babista. Catches onto Fury, but everybody else is just going to buy him some time as he uses the stopwatch. Babista doing a lot of work. Nulty able to survive as Mihabaras jumps in. Can't find himself the kill. Can't find the assassination. Meanwhile, Wazel dealing with 2 members on his own. It has got the tower to keep himself safe. Has the shield from the Sterix, and they don't need Baron. Singularity will crack the base without it. They take out 2 members, and they may just look for this inhibitor here mid lane. The Sandis just means it's so hard to set up to move into Singularity now, as the inhibitor will fall and Singularity can turn this into a Baron.
It might have looked extremely questionable, but we mentioned that Raxi has very limited targets for his ultimate. He can't ult the Azir nor the Jhin, so he needs to pick one of the 3 tanks. He picks the one with the Ignite, the Trundle. They try to burst him down, but with the Subjugate, he gets so strong, and he also has Flash, which is absolutely impossible. MNM are going for a Hail Mary play. Raxi might be able to steal. He has the Flash.
Very close to that Void Seeker clipping onto Nulti, although Nulti did have that smite available, so was able to heal up. That's the second Baron for Singularity. MNM starting to run out of options in this game. Elder spawning up in 50 seconds as well. The bases are coming in. The items are getting bought up. And crucially, the QSSs are about to come off cooldown, at least for Dragdar. So Raxi might have a bit of a harder time finding another Impale target for himself here.
I do really like what MNM are doing. They're setting up their vision correctly. They're getting Echo back in the base. Maybe another big buy. He does have TP to join them. He might have got Wazer. They pull out his ult.
Burn the teleport there. They're the ones who actually caught in a chokehold here, meaning the Azir and the pillars are going to be really irritating. Air looks for a parallel convergence, not going to hit it onto anyone. Big wave crashing in the mid lane, and Fury doesn't even care. He's actually looking just to end the game. He's running in through the front door now. He's got the Baron buff, remember, and super minions to work with. MNM may just have found themselves a little bit baited here as the locking members down. Raxi's looking for one. Isn't going to be able to find onto Dragdars, but Beast is chasing. But the base is still being sieged. The fight continues on though, and that's going to be the end of the AD carry. Raxi being interrupted by waves. Singularity are just stopping recalls. Singularity have gone through the front door, and they're going to be able to take this game down. The Nexus is being fired up. The recalls are coming in, and actually Singularity may be out of time here. The shuffle is going to get a bit of an interrupt off here as Wazor looking for the kill on Babista. The stopwatch gets used by Fury, and Wazor, he's the one to end this game. Air will get his kill onto the mid, but that is not going to be enough. Wazor will close this out, and Singularity in under 30 minutes get the win.
4-1 and 4 on the volleyball. Wazer is looking like a complete different beast this season. Great play by the top side, of course, from Singularity. A couple of question marks here and there, but the 2 solo laners absolutely smurfed this game. And I think this was the game where I've seen MNM work together as a team the most, which is funny because they still lost, but I feel like their decision making was so much more correct than we've seen it in any other game. You know, he didn't have any more targets to ult. He was ulting the Trundle in case, you know, the smite holder goes down and then they have a chance to move in for a Baron. They have a chance to move in for a Dragon. It didn't work out for them, but all in all, it did look better for an MM. Of course, Singularity, a really tough opponent to go down. They played very well. The solo lanes absolutely blew it up.
Yeah, I feel like Singularity is a pretty rough team to go up against in the final week of the regular season. But, you know, it was enough, and Singularity got themselves a fantastic win. Now it's time to pass it over to our challenger host, our handsome devil, and our self-defecating Dane. See you in a second.
I mean, he just hit he hit the nail on the head on everybody there, you know, like everybody with their little meme phrases.
I really don't want to be here. Can we get this over already?
Okay. Well, do you know what? We
you
have
got somewhere to be, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
To do.
I mean, I think it'll be a trip to the toilet. I think for Gulborg. That's the impression that I'm getting. Right, guys, that game. Should we have a look back at the? I don't know if we've got either of our sections ready. Actually, I don't know if we've got the interview or the drawing board ready. But let's talk a little bit about that game as a whole. Oh, we do have the drawing board ready. Never mind.
Oh.
Foxtrot, take it away.
Okay, so I don't actually have the drawing board open. So can someone press play? Can someone press play for me? Because
okay, fine.
I don't know.
Here we go.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Gulborg. All right, so this is the team fight that starts, really puts a nail in the coffin for MNM, because it's quite a close game right here.
Oh, I think there's something wrong with it. Wait.
I think you may have paused this. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Basically, it's just like it's a pretty close fight. You can give me a moment. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Okay. He's messing with me. MNM opted into this fight. You know, they think they can take this one, but they just go a little bit too deep. You know, it's them picking the fight. It's the Kai'Sa jumping over the wall. It's all just a little bit too much, and you know, it's a good attempt. It's a decent attempt. MNM trying to make it happen, but just wasn't to be, unfortunately for them, and that did kind of start the snowball against them and led to Singularity taking home the dub.
I really love that Foxy on his little telestrator moment really spills some facts there with the Denmark shutout as well. So great on you, Foxtrot.
Denmark and just this bad fight. Basically, that was some 10 out of 10 drawing board moment right there. He's just a thumbs up. Right, I'm going to bring someone who's actually sane in to have a chat to me. Vezor will be talking to me, and hopefully he's a little saner than the rest of our analyst desk. We've had a bit of an interesting day, Vezor. I'll put it that way. Of course, congratulations on the win. That basically secures you second place in your group realistically now, which is obviously good. I'm going to kind of. Well, obviously, we're going to wait for Barrage as well. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Yeah. Barrage clearly have another game to play. But I wanted to kind of pick your brains on who you think will be going through in either group, because obviously that game there, you kind of dominated from start to finish. I don't think there's much I can really pull apart when it comes to the game. MNM were down and out, and I think you've basically consigned them to relegation. So, Vezor, your team is the Grim Reaper, unfortunately. you hate to see it. You hate to see it. You put M&M in the bin. But I'm interested to think who do you think will get that last promotion spot in Group B, and who do you think maybe are going to sneak it through in Group A?
I mean, honestly, I think it's kind of hard to say. I think there's been a lot of close games, and the weaker teams taking a couple of wins from each other here and there. But I feel like Kova has been pulling out some strong performances, so I'm gonna give it to them. And then Group A, I'm not sure about at all.
Group A is an absolute fiesta, mate. There were
I don't even know what's going on anymore.
There were 4 teams tied on the same score, so it was an absolute fiesta. But right now, it looks like Nordavin and Godsend are kind of in the
they're in
the two spots. You had a choice between Kova and Riddle, and I think Riddle are yet to play, but they have to face Fnatic this week, so that might be a tough game for them to sort of fight for that spot.
One step ahead.
Yeah, exactly.
Or maybe 2.
For you guys, I'm interested in knowing what is your strategy going into playoffs? Are you just going to continue doing what you do? Have you got any specific strategies that you've been planning? You don't have to tell me what those strategies are, but have you got any specific strategies that you've been planning for other teams?
I mean, I think throughout the split we have been focusing on picking up the wins. So at least from practice wise, we're gonna focus more on actually getting better, which I think might have been a big reason why we lost last week's matches. That we were kind of not one step ahead on the meta read, and so people had caught up in skill as well. So we're looking to get one step ahead again. So hopefully we can get those wins in playoffs.
I kind of always knew you as the top laner that had a bit more of an eclectic champion pool. You'd play a lot of different things. Now that Gragas is back in meta, I remember you playing Gragas before he was kind of like a super meta top laner. Yeah. Are you happy to see him there? I've seen a lot of discussion about Gragas being a no-skill top laner on Twitter, but are you happy to have Gragas back in top lane?
I mean, to some extent, yes, because he got buffed and that's why he's actually being played, but then he's being played as a tank and that's not very fun. So I'm not actually trying to get my hands on him too much, unless it's a good ability power game. So I can one-shot some carries, but the tank Gragas is kind of lame.
I like that.
He's lame to play and lame to play against.
Oh mate, you're killing me. You're killing. I'm a Scion one trick. I watch the Baus. I only play tank Gragas and tank Scion. I mean, you're ruining me.
I mean, tank Scion is at least fun still. So.
Yeah, to be fair, that's why I play Scion. I just like hitting people with a Q. It's good fun. I know that you're a Scion enjoyer as well, because you played a couple of games of Scion in the NLC. So I'm glad I've got a fellow Scion main here. Oh, not main, but, at least like Scion.
Maybe a lethality game in playoffs.
Maybe a lethality game in playoffs. Oh, don't get me excited, mate. I'm holding you to it. I've been asking a lot of teams about how who they've been scrimming and how they've been scrimming. You don't have to tell me who, but have you been scrimming any other European regional leagues? Throughout the course of this split.
Yeah, I mean we've played mostly teams from the LVP, I think. That has been standout names, if I say so, and then you can pick the pieces together. I think to maybe who those are, but. Outside of that, I don't think we've played too many good teams, but I think this week's practice has been really well, and we've been getting the wins again.
It's good, and I hope, I think you guys have had an excellent split, and I've been really, really impressed to see how you've kind of grown, but also kind of turned Singularity around from the way they were in the previous split of the NLC. You had a really, really good performance, and I think your team should be really proud. I'm really looking forward to seeing how you do in playoffs as well. So, Vezor, honestly, just get some rest, prepare for those playoffs, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you. See you.
Okay, so we obviously now start to look towards the highlights from today. So let's take a look back at what we've seen in today's games, and we're starting off with that Tricked versus Godsent one.
Yeah, this was everyone favoriting Tricked. Tricked was like the best team coming in, best team out of these two record-wise, and everyone was predicting them to take this one. But really by surprise, Godsent, not only did they win, but they won in relatively convincing fashion. I was really impressed with the way that they made that play, and just in general, I think that Godsent are kind of a team to keep your eyes on as we head towards this playoff race right here. And Nordavind as well, another one that was able to put it out of the bag today. I also think that I think that going into the rest of this week, we're gonna see even crazier stuff, because we've just got absolutely, like, every game counts. We've already had upsets. We're gonna be seeing some even more upsets as well. And this is what makes playoffs so hypey for me. The playoffs themselves are great, but it's like that last week building up to them. I don't know about you, Scoundrel, but for me, I'm just like, seeing where all the chips fall is always something that just, you never really know what's going to happen. And that's the beauty of League of Legends, man.
Mate, I mean, we always get some surprises in playoffs, honestly. I think, it's not 100% guaranteed that we see like XL and Fnatic make it to the finals. We didn't see that in a couple of splits, realistically. So I think there's a lot to be said about best of fives. There's lots of adaptation. Teams can often tilt. We've seen, like remarking XL, who absolutely stomped Fnatic in 2 games and somehow tilted 1 game and then lost 3 in a row. Like, the tilt can happen in these series. It's a real thing, and I think it brings a whole new beast to strategy and gameplay when we get to those playoff series. Gilbog, I'm going to bring you in to talk to me about something. Yeah.
What was that, bro?
Mate, I've had a hard day. It's been tough.
You've had a hard day. Okay, perfect. No, I was just gonna say that best of fives for sure. Like, even coaching staff starts to matter way more in terms of actually cooling players down in between series, not getting them too hot-headed, having the right preparations, and coming in with the correct expectations. Because you can't really just imagine a 3-0. There are gonna come some moments that you're not prepared for, where adaptability will be your best friend, and the key skill that you need to have, just because that usually a code kind of just happens to be there in a draft, and it's about cracking that code about, oh, this pick is really good in this best of 5, or this champion makes sense here. So yeah, definitely way more interesting heading into playoffs when teams need to get ready for that.
Of course, and of course we also selected an MVP of the day, of which I believe, Gulbog, you orchestrated. So Gulbog, talk to me about the MVP of the day.
I mean, I think like this is a guy that really has gone under a lot of people's radar, and I think he's playing a huge part in some of the success that BTXL is having. Advian today on the rail was just great. Like, he's a flexible player in terms of how he wants to operate on the map. He had some great disengages, even greater engages. It's supposed to stay there, but I just wrote disengages twice because I was in a hurry.
He had some great disengages.
It's supposed to say engages.
Disengages.
And he's a great facilitator, even with Deadly today on the Jhin and the follow-up coming out from the rail here. Like, I think he makes some compelling arguments as to why rail is such a priority pick at the moment.
Yeah, and I think what we were talking about behind the scenes as well a little bit at Goldberg was just how strong the support pool is in the NLC. Like, there's so many good support players, and Advian is absolutely up there as one of the best, if not the best support that we have the pleasure of watching. And I really liked his game today. I think he was great on that rail, and completely agree with you. Rail as a champion, so strong right now. And as we move into playoffs, I expect to see a lot of rail.
Well, absolutely, guys. We, of course, have more to come tomorrow, but let's take a look at where we are in the standings with Group A and Group B. I think it's good to take stock of that Group A, especially. As you can see now, Nordavind and Godsent sit a little bit above Dusty and Granite at 4 and 5. Obviously, things can still switch around, and as Gulborg correctly said, Tricked, as you can quite clearly see, are not 100% safe right now. There are things that can be shifted and changed. Although I would say it would be difficult. Now, I think Tricked are guaranteed a top 4 at this point, because I think Dusty and Granite have only got one more game remaining, right? So I think Tricked are...
So wait, I have to double check real quick, but I think the thing is with that so the so if Godsend and Tricked wins the next matches, or Godsend and Nordvin wins the next matches, and Tricked lose, then they are all tied. Then then Godsend will tie with Tricked because they are still head to head with a 1-1 score, so a tiebreaker will be forced. So they're still not confirmed for playoffs.
Okay, I will figure this out. It's not worth getting into. It's a close group still, as you can see. Let's have a look at Group B. We can take a look at the standings over there. And as you'll see, Fnatic, Barrage, Singularity all clearly out in the lead. And Kova and Riddle are now fighting realistically for that 4th qualification spot. MNM, I don't think MNM can get out of the relegation spot at this point in time, but it would require a little bit of luck on their side if they were able to.
Yeah, at luck, if they ran into a time traveler, could go back to being the split and they could change the whole way they were playing. Because they're not getting out with that scoreline, and even if they win, their best case scenario, best case scenario is 2 wins, but their head-to-head against Riddle is 0-2. So yeah, they are done. So they are as toasted as the marshmallow in their logo. What's interesting about the 2 different groups here, though, is Group A is much more of a fight about just top 4 in general, who's going to make playoffs. Whereas Group B for me is much more of a fight about top 2. Who's going to take that 2nd spot? Because Barrage and Singularity are both looking like they can do it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out in the next 2 days.
Yeah, of course. And we have plenty of extra games coming your way. As I said, tomorrow we've got Kova versus Barrage, Fnatic versus Riddle, Granite versus Tricked, and Nordvind versus Dusty. 4 games, obviously, that have huge impact on the groups as they stand. And of course, if you want to check out more action, our boy Gulborg is a part of one of the Telia broadcasts. So if you want to check out any of the upcoming talent from across the Nordic regions, there's Telia broadcasts for pretty much every Nordic country. Obviously, Gulborg getting involved in, as you could guess, the Denmark version of the Telia broadcast. And of course, there's the UKLC on this channel that I think usually happens on a Saturday, Sunday, or Monday. But I think they've kind of made their way through most of the regular season. Hit Prame would be able to tell you. That man knows all about the UKLC. But there's plenty of upcoming talent in our region. We've got some banger names. I've said banger about 50 times today, but we've got some banger names, especially in the Denmark Telia Masters, as Gulborg knows. Some really, really high quality players who are working their way back up through to the higher tiers of the ERL. But for the time being, this has been one of the strangest broadcast days we've had in a long time. The desk has had a lot of fun. I hope you have had too. Goodbye.
Land of which we claimed, wash it from our hands. Don't flinch or move a mile. It's safer for the